I have to fix that. Oops. It looks like it's working. It is working. Okay. All right. I guess I'll just go from right to left. Or yeah. We'll start with Kalen and Conan, and then we will continue with the other games. Fairly standard opening. This is interesting. The issue with this is that when black takes the cut and then you extend from here, like you don't have a good follow up with this stone. Like so here, even if you come out here, there's going to be weakness, and if you play here, the two stones are in danger. So now you would want to play a little bit closer. But then again, you have another weakness with the left side stone, and then there's the fact that if you just extend from this, you're giving black the option to take the stone in various ways. Usually extending is the strongest move, but you can also take this because later uh, your opponent's going to play Antari, and if you connect, then it's almost a waste, but sometimes just taking the stone is pretty big. That being said, black got the cut, which is pretty good. White extended, not the best way. When your opponent now plays like this, they can send the capture, but there's a more normal way of capturing with the tiger's mouth. So you, excuse me, I might cough a little because I'm sick, but even if you get this, black gets a lot of outside liberties, but it's not particularly exciting to have this way because now you have a weak group here, your group is floating, the three stones are captured. So the opening kind of is starting a little bit rough for white. Black plays this one. There is some issue with this. So when the opponent pushes, you're going to continuously play like this. And eventually you're going to want to Hane. But the question will be is who has the liberties for this? I'm sure black can actually play this way because of it, so white will clamp. And then white can basically live this way. Not a very great way of living, but it is a way that white can live now because of the tiger's mouth here. If you connected, it would have been slightly better, as you can now run the stones out or jump. So the opponent is still going to lose the fight in the corner because it's 3. This has 4. So and the fact that black can gain more. So unfortunate connection by black. Ran and then Tanuki. I would not Tanuki. The reason we should not Tanuki is once white gets this Hane, it's the Hane at the head of 2 stones. But also your group is becoming much, much weaker. And when you bring the corner out, white can follow, and then your group is getting even further weaker. And if you jump out this way, white can still jump out here, and then eventually, when you fix in the center, white's happy to attack the corner. So when white jumps, you're basically saying that you need to follow in the corner as well. And to avoid this, we just crawl until we have this type of shape, and then when we jump out the stones, we can focus on attacking the cutting stones directly. So white's answered and then attached. I think the normal, like if you want the corner stuff, I think you have to play this way. But after making these, so the reason black is going to connect is if we play here, white gets this move, and if we play like this, black doesn't want to block immediately. Black is going to want to continue here or play on the bottom where white didn't finish the Joseki. So the Tawari here, or like just analyzing the position, is we can avoid playing 4 by just connecting directly. And we also don't give white this move here. But when you play this one, I think black can just play this way, and when you back off, black should still just Tanuki. Because if you cut, you might be able to get this move. But again, black is not unhappy with playing big. So first, they're going to get another move in the corner. So you may need to live somehow. Let's just say you live like this, and then black can go ahead and play a far extension from the wall and play a good extension from the weak group. Um, I'm at this point. I'm going to be ignoring the fact that the honey's there after I explained it. So this extension is going to be like almost top priority the entire time. So we connected, but we didn't need to connect. There is like some Aji that we need to be aware of, but if we just do a simple read, right, the best that we can do is probably clamp. And you have two options. You can play here, or you can connect and then extend, right? So don't fix fake cutting points. That's like a huge thing with Q players. You guys fix prematurely, and then you also make your own cutting points, which is kind of funny, right? Like two fighting agendas. This is a good time to extend. Like, this should give you some sort of like a sense of urgency that my group is being surrounded. I don't want my opponent getting a very strong move locally. Wedge is interesting. This isn't really Joseki, mostly because when white connects, they're playing this way, but they can also play like this, and it turns into a large fight that I don't recommend to anyone. Uh, the normal sequences you would find is something like this, and then you can extend or further extend, push as possible, but this is going to be a normal sequence. Sometimes you might see your opponent play like this, but if they play this way, they're making somewhat stronger shape, but they also give black stronger shape as well. So that means like you can actually take a move to play away. The other way to play is to attach, and this is perfectly okay to play. And then the other one would be like this. The opponent fixes high or low, and then the game continues. But I noticed that perhaps we're not well versed in Josekis because both players should probably want to play stuff like this, ignoring the top right. Okay. I'm going to say a simple way of playing this is we could have just done this. It, I don't know. Well, let's just check if it's good. Yeah, it's going to be good for black. It's a very simple way of playing. You have the ladder, but when white tries to like go for the corner here, you have a very thick group. So if we continue like playing these forcing moves, opponent then has to play like this, and then we finally approach this group. When we have a corner, it's basically fully alive. These three stones cannot really attack it heavily. If they do, you just oops. You can make life. So one way to make life is playing like this. The opponent has to try to come out with these stones, but then you can attack the group here. So, if they block, then you can go ahead and focus on capturing the stones. It does mean that white's going to live non-trivially on the right side, but maybe that's okay. But the point is, the corner's unlikely to die even if you play passively. But just from this particular game, already I can sense that like both players don't really understand what Joseki is, and it's important to learn so we learn equal exchanges. Because when we Tanuki, I should show the refutation. When we Tanuki this here, right? Uh, Black is supposed to respond. Black can Tanuki, and that can be scary. But even if your opponent forces you to take the corner, Eventually, he has to come back to the left side, or you get to pincer the stones and you gain something by attacking them. So when you play like this, you're going to get a free move to play elsewhere. And when you Tanuki here, after this, and black plays, so there's two ways of playing. You can play the Hane and connect, or you can pincer, and if they kick again, they no longer can sustain the cutting point. So one thing that happens is white still ends up giving it up, and this is good for black since you can extend from both sides. One side strong, has half an eye, also is very thick. Corner's not fully alive, so the reason the corner is not fully alive is this is an L group. They still require a move, like this one. So in order for white to live, they need to add another move. So if black surrounds white for any reason, they would need to add that move. Okay. In the actual game, black descended down. Okay, that's a very simple way of resolving the position. I don't know if we have the ladder, but I would probably play the Atari once. And if black takes, then play here. But this is okay. Black black having to take here and giving white. Okay, white should not be you should not be taking these stones. Unless you're worried about the Atari, but if your opponent plays the Atari, you can still just connect or take, and the opponent still needs to fix this. Right? Um, in the game, black took, white took, black pushed. Now this is a little redundant. White would take if he had pushed first and then took, but now that white has taken the stones, this is a very slow move. It's not doing anything. If you need a base or you need the group to come out, we should just make a full extension. In that case, you can abuse the fact that white did not play in the left corner here. Very slow move. Should just extend. Later, you can still play like this and force white to connect, and then white needs to fix this point. If they don't, we can cut. So like this, there's here. White would need to play something like this, and black gets a really nice outside. So you could probably do it immediately too, but extending here is nice. If you do this immediately, you're likely to give white an extra move here. So it might be better to play here. White got the Hane. This is kind of now an urgent situation. We need to bring our stones out. Should probably aim for something here. That way we can attack this group. With the 3-stone wall, I think we should extend one more. Otherwise, protecting this group is pretty big. White continuing the attack is pretty good. I would put the pressure on like this, or I'd play here. One reason is, I mean, the follow-up here is nice, but the jump is going to be much nicer. The opponent can't really wedge because of the double Atari. And when they jump, you can fix on this side, or you can play something like this to attack the corner. If they live locally, when you play here, black's only option is to run towards the center. So when black runs, you can build points on the top side as well. You're also gaining moves here to gain points on the right side too. So this is also why it's important for black to stop white from playing here immediately. 2-space jump. I'd say this is okay. White's not exactly in a strong position. However, I think white can play something like this to surround black. Potentially even just play here, and you're capturing black. So black would have no time to connect here, but Maybe that's what black wants. Black can give up those stones for the right side. If we're really worried about these stones, though, I think just the Hari or here would be better. If we want to defend the right side, you should either attach or play here, because you can still make it out with stuff like this, and we shouldn't be worried about our opponent playing something akin to like trying to attack us, because they're only going to make one side stronger. And it's unlikely that black is going to attach. It just makes white somewhat stronger here too. Giving black the extension though is not ideal. White's trying a fancy attack. It could work, right? I'm assuming you're looking at this. Black takes and then play here. I think this would be a very interesting way of playing, but if black had just played... If black had played here and you extended, black is fully connected on both sides, and, saving the two stones is not necessary right now. We kind of have a bit of a troubled position with these two stones that we should not let black try to eat. But it does mean that later black can just swallow the extended stone. So if we wanted to try something, we had to do it here. For example, if like this, you could play here, but this becomes a terrible ko. Or even if you capture the stones, I mean, this is going to be good if you can capture the corner. Likely what'll happen is this connection, and then here. So even if you get to connect at 5, what we got here was A for B, but B is very good for black, because now you can't play the Atari and gain profit from it. Okay, let's continue with the game a little bit faster. It's a very interesting game. White did get a very large move. This is just a reading mistake. You should play here. You're in a capture. There's no way for white to break through. It does mean white's going to get stuff like this, but if white's fully connected, maybe we won't connect, but if white plays here, we can just let it go and then extend. In the actual game, we gave it the corner, which is super good for white. Honey's just going to be big, right? So if they take, you can always force like the outside moves, and if they continue this way, you can give them up to attack the two stones. Won't be the best thing, but it's probably going to be better than just allowing him to connect like that. But I will say, if like this, potentially we can save these stones. White will try to save them, possibly. In this case, we can actually capture the 3 stones. Especially if they play like this, we can net. That's pretty big. A lot of one-space moves. So one thing I will say, in regards to playing a game like this, weaknesses are pretty big. So you want to play things in Sente, but you also want to play big moves. So this is going to be a lot bigger than the right side. Both sides are pretty solid. You're unlikely to attack this group, so maybe even something like this, if the opponent comes out, we can jump. And you can see how I'm using my stones to make an even bigger box, while also reducing the area the opponent has. So trying to make boxes in Sente is going to be super big, but also learning to use the opponent's weaknesses. So like this, a little bit of reading would help along with attacking this. So if the opponent runs out, one thing that happens is they give away territory. And potentially they can sacrifice the 2 stones, but we gain more than they gain here. And if you have Sente, it's going to be big to go after the weaknesses that the opponent creates. So something like this. Excuse me. We can probably get away with... we'll play here first, and then this. And then you can extend. 19 is probably not necessary, but like here's a weakness that you could have used. along with playing a big move here, because we're not really worried about being cut or giving up the stones, because we're making the left side super huge. The other thing is you can also protect the cut as well with something like this. So the only thing you have to worry about is a ladder, but there's also just white having to fight their way out, which is also going to be good for you. In terms of the game, this is not ideal. You can still play here, or like locally, like you're not going to die. So like playing underneath, forcing them to answer, and then playing a big move on this side, or even playing like this, forcing the opponent to connect up uh, and answer while making your side as large as possible is going to be big. In the game, when you play moves like this, same with white, you have to identify the big areas. Black is alive here, white's alive here, right? Potentially, you may want to like actually fix the weakness here. So adding a move like this is going to be big, but otherwise, finding the biggest area and then playing it is going to be very large. Things that I would focus on for both players is just learn your Josekis. Uh, Josekis will show you shapes. They'll give you knowledge in terms of what you want to learn. Um, the other thing is don't Tanuki Josekis midway. You leave weaknesses. It would have been better just to play like this and allow black to have a Sente move. Don't be greedy. And then don't protect cuts that aren't cuts, right? So later in the game, we connected. Also, don't allow your opponent to have Hane the Head of Two Stones. So kind of like pick your battles, try to make good shape, and don't Tanuki too early. Gonna be a while before you figure out what's what, but hopefully my tips help. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next game. We have Hansen versus Euro Steve. Okay, fairly normal. The only issue is I wouldn't want to play low because, well, for this exact reason, we're going to be pushed low. It's not very exciting with these stones. I might not even want to play on this side of the board anymore. If I'm going to play anything, I want to play on this side or on the bottom where I won't be flat. Playing here is fine. Ideally, I'd rather just play on the side that's most interesting. Because when black plays like this, I didn't lose anything locally. Black has to add a move in order to do something with the wall. Otherwise, like we can attack this wall because we have strength. So black's direction here is a little interesting. I'd rather play here or play on the top side to reduce white's potential. Okay, white's taking the 3/3. That's not something I would play. In this particular case, I would probably ask for this and kind of look for the bigger side. Black. So there's like the theory of white and black is that black should go for the large areas to make up for Comey. But if white is going for a large area, black has done something wrong. Not to say in the age of AI that's necessarily true, but it's kind of like a good way of looking at the game. Um, so here we take this. So we're basically going to be allowing black to. Oh, we should play high. We should play here, or we should push. This move is a little awkward. It doesn't actually protect you from this peep. So like, if the opponent gets this, they're going to later get like a massive Aji that you wouldn't like to see. Um, it also just allows black to like enter in the side. He also should not be trying to make points with this wall. If anything, maybe play like this, right? If maybe we should push, and then like this, we can kind of make this wall And this was kind of also at a lecture with Yuan Jun, the 9-dan professional that I believe won the Masters this year. He had a lecture and he was talking about how a lot of his times he's played an opponent where he has won every single time that he's played this wall. And this can happen in an actual game, but the idea is that at some point this area is probably going to be bigger than this one. But it really depends. And if you really don't feel like it after like the third push, you can come here and kind of uh, take away the positional availability here. You also get this and then Tanuki. So now if it's like this, you were definitely making this area smaller while making this area larger. But you should never try to make territory with your wall. Instead, what you're trying to do is you're trying to entice the opponent to invade. So like once we play away, black is going to be like, that's really large on top. I should try to do something about it. And then you can play elsewhere. Because when they keep going in, eventually you're going to stop them by playing a move. And that's when it's okay to start making points. If they go in too deep, you can attack it now. So the way that you gain profit with walls is your opponent plays too close and you can attack it. Sorry. Alright, so for the game we played here, but we gave black the opportunity to play elsewhere. If if we're not going to play this far or we're not going to extend this way, I would highly recommend, or even if you don't feel comfortable playing this move, I'd highly recommend going into the corner, especially since we played e4, because after black plays it, e4 feels a little out of place. Like now we want to play here, so we have a good extension, but then black can take this. You run into this position where like we've extended too far, and then black can start attacking inside too. So you make this kind of position, but even if you get this extension, black gets to play on the right side, and black is going to be doing a lot better locally. The top right shape is good for black. Okay, black Tanuki. That is a very strong Tanuki. I can appreciate that. This type of attack, I don't recommend. And if you're going to attack it, just play up. Because when the opponent plays to gain some sort of base, the only thing that it does is it really hurts white. White has to continue to like make both sides strong, and then eventually like you get all the good endgame. So you can this isn't necessarily how the game would unfold, but when white tries pushing their luck type of way of playing, like black can gain a lot of endgame this way. There's no points here for white. Black gain points here. Black is still running. White is still running, and we don't know what's happening with the white corner yet. But I imagine like with the extra endgame, it's not very nice, right? So when we jump, we put a lot of pressure on our opponent to run out as well. So they might try something like this, and in this case, they're looking to kind of get in the corner. You can take away the base or you can extend. The issue with extending is there's going to be Aji, but it is a way of playing. I wouldn't recommend anything like on the outside because you're just going to force the opponent to play better. So not play better. You're force your opponent to have good shape. Sometimes they'll attach and they'll give you a good shape like this, and then eventually you can jump. So like this, you can play here, and like you've gained a lot of points in the corner, while white has this wall that, honestly speaking, it's really hard to attack these two stones. Black is already out, so maybe white plays like this. But again, black's goal is not territory. They already gained profit here. There's profit on the other side too. So like, if something like this, black is very happy about playing this way. It would be nice to get an extra move on this side too. So when white tries some trickery, we're not dealing with a floating stone here. But potentially it could be okay. I would recommend jumping out. The Kosume is a little weird. Like it doesn't speak that you're trying. Like you're hoping white goes down, right? And then you can jump. But white should not play this way. If I was white, I'd probably attach. So now when you descend, I can play like this, and then this feels like a really weird exchange. Like two stones are touching, and then you played K4. Not ideal. You extended. This is kind of the vital point for attacking this shape, but we don't have the extension at d5, so that makes sense. But if you want to put pressure on the group, you need to jump out. This is super important. As for white, descending was not good. When you play here, there's no pressure. We can play it like a more traditional way, but you can't even seal these stones in perfectly. There's also like this knight's move type of stuff. White can come out here, or they can attach to come out. If you attach on top, they'll break the shape, and then you need to know how you're going to sell the stones. They can also attach, right? There's potential to also. I believe we can just play this way too. But this way is going to be a lot easier for black to attack the stones. So maybe not that way. I know in some cases players might try something like this, where you give white the thick or the points on the side, and you try swallowing the stones in whole. But white gains a lot of profit by forcing you to take these stones later, right? Now you need to find a way to probably this one, and then white's forced you to take these stones, but white gets like the full outside. And in this particular case, it's going to work well with the outside influence. In the actual game, we took a big point, which is pretty big. Attaching weak stones, extending up is good. At this point, I would probably play here, or I would play this one. I'm not necessarily worried about my opponent clamping me here. It feels bad not to play this, but this is going to be a big move. I think the Hani is a little unnecessary for black. If anything, I'd rather jump out, or I'd play a large move here. It's not easy for white to put pressure on this group, especially when we can jump out like so. Yeah, we can play this way. Because if white really wants to attack this group, they're going to be sacrificing a lot. Not to mention, there's potential weaknesses that white has to cover. And if you're really worried, you can play here, and locally you can have two eyes. It does mean that your corner gets hurt, though. So in the actual game, Hane, white attached. What? I don't know what black was thinking personally, but this is a must. This is a must move. The opponent did not play this. So we have, like, the opponent didn't play this. This was the right? They extended, and they allowed you to get this shape. This is really good shape for black. And if white extends, like, we can always kill the stones. White has no way of winning the capturing races here. So I'm really confused as to why black played that. I'm really confused as to why I played that one too. The Hane is big, so like when they play here, now your group is practically safe, and there's a large move here. There's going to be a large move eventually to play something on the right side. I'm not exactly sure. Probably this one because it's closer to this group. There's also the fact that like you may want to try a move like this to force black to try to fight. So like it might be a good idea to start with this type of move to take the top side or play here directly, and kind of make the left or the top side as big as possible. This is interesting. We definitely can't cut, so this makes sense. I would play this at least once and then jump out. Because the Atari here doesn't ask for a whole lot, and we do want to answer it. So if I play here directly and the opponent plays here, now they're almost alive locally. And we should play high. We have a very strong corner group. Oops, not that one. You play here. With this push, it also allows the high to be very, very big. White's unlikely to live like this. Chances are White's going to try lower stuff. So you are probably worried about something like this. But if in terms of like what's big, I think it's fine to fight White. If White's fighting you on the right side, that means they're not spending moves on the top left. So eventually you're going to get a large move and be able to reduce it. There's also the fact that this fight in particular will allow you to erase the eye here eventually and make this group weak. But like this, I think White... I'm not sure about the exchange by White, but it can make sense. Like, if you're going to play here, I'd rather not give Black any strength, because eventually, if we're careful enough, we can eventually get a move like this to separate the one stone, but Black is relatively strong on both sides, so the best we can do is probably reduce. Black should really try attacking these stones. Your corner's strong, you shouldn't extend from it. Theoretically speaking, this group is not fully alive, so when White, comes out like this and fixes, it's not hurting the corner, and then now you can force White to jump out. Which also means with the stones coming out this direction, we still have potential to jump in. The influence on the wall isn't super good. Jumping out. That's a good move. Black realized White's starting to build, so we jump in. Probably not the best move to jump in. When you're jumping into a place, you either want to go all the way and aim at a weakness, or you want to attach or shoulder hit. You can always prep a move to come in. So like if your opponent answers, that's fine. If they cap you, you can play like this to like break the shape or handle the attack and you can then come inside. But generally speaking, we don't want to play a random move like this. Because now when White goes for the attack, it doesn't feel super good. There's also, like, when White plays here, they can ignore that and then fight you to the death here. Connecting is fine. A lot of people might think about haunting at the head of two stones here, but Black has this helper stone here. So what you're really doing is you're giving Black good shape. Normally, when your opponent plays like this, you're strong on both sides, you would actually crosscut to punish your opponent. But we can't do that because Black can capture. So we're helping our opponent by playing the wrong proverb. We're not taking Black's other moves in consideration. So at this point, I feel like Black is doing perfectly fine. Black has basically lived in this area. Black has points here. Black has points on this side. Black has points here. Black does need to settle this group, and they do need to play a move here. So for example, when White plays like this is Sente, Black needs to play here, and then White can go ahead and attack these ones. This is probably White's best chance in this game, is to force this type of fight where these two stones are running and hope that this group or this group becomes weak enough that we gain enough profit from killing. But when we play like this, I would not answer this. Instead, I would either push or extend down, probably push or jump like this. So it's hard for white to break through. Okay, white got this. There is no reason to not do this. Black made a big mistake playing this way. If he gives it up, you've already profited, right? But I think this way is too easy, too soft on black. Black's now alive here, black's alive here. Okay. This move is a little slow. Protect your weakness here, and then black is almost completely safe everywhere. White would be hard pressed to find enough points in this game after a move like this. Because now if you play here, which this is going to be a bigger move than turning here, unless what you're really worried about is like the points that they make here, but you can always block. If they play here, you can always turn. And again, if they clamp, you can extend. You shouldn't be worried because these two stones are connected to the corner. But if white had played here, it does look like black is alive. But white getting these hunting moves is pretty big. Unfortunately, I think this game is hard pressed for white. Saving the stone is not a good idea. If we're going to save it, we should have done it a move earlier. But I can see why you didn't. But we should not be saving it a second time. Instead, big move to play here. And then eventually you're going to, if they connect, you may want to force the fight against this group. It is alive locally with this move, but we have to attack something. White is hard trouble here. This is just a free move. I don't care if my opponent protects on the outside. Getting those two stones is so big, especially since we're live here, and like if we do want to come out, we can play like this. This is going to be a very large move too. Why did we what? Why didn't we just play here? The poke doesn't matter. You can connect or you can connect here. If they play here and then you Tanuki, well, they can Atari and then play this one. You're not dead here either. So, need to do a little bit more reading. I don't know who particularly won this game, but black should probably win it. And if they lose, it's because they are forgetting the large points in this game. In terms of points, like white has about 20 points. Black should have about 20 points with just these two corners. So black should be winning by a lot. 5 points. I could see that. Peep is fine. Hopefully he plays in the corner. Nope. I guess with Q games, 5 points isn't a lot. I shouldn't have said that. 5 points can go a long ways, but it's interesting to see that the AI thinks this is within 5 points. I guess Comey is pretty large. 7 points is a lot. So black is winning by 12 points on the board. How does the game end? It looks like it's just a lot of reduction, so it makes sense. Black captures the center, which is interesting. Black needs to be a little bit more careful here. I think playing this move is going to be very large. Oh no, that's really unfortunate. Something like this would have been way better. And there's no way for white to kill you. We have this Atari, and then we can play this one. And even if they play here, we're live. It does mean that they're going to get the nice endgame there. So in the game, we gave white extra points. That could have cost black a lot of points there. And the issue is that this is going to be forcing. Um, it doesn't mean much since black is going to be alive anyways, but with co-threats, that's going to be very large. Not getting the right side is going to be big. So white does have a very large chance of actually winning this in endgame. But I feel like black just has too many points. So from here, black won. Black was gaining points. So the thing with this particular game is kind of like direction of play. We kind of made an awkward extension from both this group and the corner. We either need to play in the center, or we need to build the wall. Otherwise, I think you can Tanuki all together and play with more forwarding strength. And then in terms of what happened here, the attack would be a lot easier for black if they had just jumped. Maybe a little bit nicer. And then not continuing the pressure on this group was not ideal for black. But I think black's biggest mistake was just not extending here. It's super big. White's mistake is allowing black to even have that shape. And this fight is kind of awkward. But again, even if we continue this thought, right, in terms of fighting, attacking these stones would have been very big, and then coming out here to make the top side as large as possible. I understand that we have a weak group here. If we're going to do something to make it stronger, you kind of need to play on this side, or play kind of breaking the dog's face to make your group slightly stronger, and then you can go ahead and play moves like this. Because now it's a lot harder for black to consider attacking these stones. All right, I'll try to to go a little bit faster. I'm a little slow when reviewing. All right, so we have Let's Panda and Alpa. Fun 5 4s or 6 4s. Sorry. Yeah, that's solid. I don't really like this when people play um, this type of style. You're essentially saying, please come this direction so I can pincer you, but really you have a low stone here and it's not very helpful for developing or attacking. If you want like your opponent to play this way and you want to attack it, you want to play high. But if like you just play normal, sure you can raise the position, right? Like you're defending the issue with 6, but you're also giving white the approach for free. Allowing your opponent to approach for free is not ideal, or I wouldn't call it a good idea. Okay, so opponent got to come out, you jumped. You should make use of the stone, right? Like you play the stone, you need to play high. I guess maybe you're worried about the absolute monstrosity of a pincer that'll happen. Um, but in times like this, like you can actually sacrifice the stone or come out like this and allow the opponent to capture. I need to mute that. That's really loud. But when you play like this, I feel like white could have leaned. Of course, this gives off this. But even if black captures and white gets to play this way, you have a weakness here. And if you defend, then when white comes out, you're basically allowing white to fight um, groups on both sides. And maybe this is okay, but I feel like this is an advantage for white since you're playing 3 stones to 1 locally. White got the pincer and then backed off, but white didn't fix. I mean, if you don't want to fix, I would play here first as a testing move. Because if the opponent plays here, maybe you want to do this or descend. Probably not descend. I'd probably look for this as like a testing move. Because later, well, I guess you're jumping out, so that's fine. But later, like black might actually get a move here to attack the stones, and you can't do anything in the corner. It's actually a good idea if like they do get this. Locally, you're alive, and then you fix, and then you have a stone that you can use later, especially for a cut. Jumping and fighting. I would not have played that move. I would have gone for this one in particular. I like the idea of being able to cut my opponent, but maybe this is not ideal. This feels a little weird, especially since we can cut. Like cutting the outside stones feels really nice for white. And if we play this way, we have to come back and save these stones, but then white gets the ladder. If black connects, the wedge seems a little redundant, but at least we get to play like this. We're going to be able to hurt the stones. I don't know if we're going to be able to kill white. It doesn't seem like it because of this. But this isn't a particularly a result that I wouldn't really like, though. We connected underneath, so we're forced to play this way anyways. I wonder if we should have played this one, though. It does give black the opportunity to play for the outside, but if black plays for the outside, they need to come back and capture it. That's fine. This way, white gains a lot on the bottom. Black has this kind of like wall facing the top side, but white's going to get the first move to approach the top right. This is actually kind of what happens, but we didn't play the tiger's mouth. So locally, we don't have 2 eyes. Locally, we don't have 2 eyes. I would have played here. I guess we don't want to lose a... Excuse me, we don't want to lose a liberty there. Is that Sente? Black can... White... Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Is that alive? I think white is alive like this. Because we can play here. I don't think that's alive. I mean, the idea would be we wedge, black plays here, and then we're able to try and kill our opponent, but we don't have the ladder resources to do this. If we can handle this, then black dies. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, this dies. But it's probably, this is probably going to be too good for black. If white tries to live, yeah. So sometimes just letting your opponent live because when they make bad exchanges, it's too good. This is really good for black. White's making these exchanges. Allowed black to connect. If you're going to make a weakness, probably dead. There's no way your opponent's playing this way because they can't handle the outside stones because the 3 stones are in danger or lack of liberties. So like this, they would need to figure out which way to protect, and then later, like you would get this extension in Sente, which could be helpful later in the game. But now with this is no longer Sente. It's also, it would have been better um, to not give black that. Extending from the stone. Um, Locally, black does have a better result, so this means that black is going to be able to jump in. So the way that I would look at this in order to fight, so this is a good way of playing because I'm looking to play this way and then cut. I believe black will have the ladder because of this stone. Generally, what will happen is white plays like this. We bump. I think this is what would happen. But white, I think, usually plays this way, doesn't they? Black can live locally in the corner. White would probably need to save these stones. White could probably play this one as well. But you would be giving black a corner in the co. Or co in the corner. I can speak English. The other way that I would look, so this is too far. This is in between. Either go all the way on one side or something like this, right? Where you can make some sort of base, or attack the weak group, which is these two stones. They're both high, but they don't have a base on the third line. So this is a good attacking angle where you can make this shape they need to fix, and then you're alive locally on the left side, right? They made a lot of moves on the outside, but they didn't gain any territory with it. So playing in the center here, you allowed your opponent to fix their weakness. Opponent jumped out. I can respect the two space. I wouldn't want to be pincered on top side. One thing you can do is you can play here. But there's probably nothing wrong with handling moves like this and then trying to fight to make the top side as large as possible. But we do need to answer this. You don't have time to allow your opponent to play the Hane. This is also big in terms of like being able to jump into the side. So even if your opponent plays like this, like when you jump, they have to make a small base. Maybe they even play here. But this is going to allow you to use these stones to attack them. And if they don't, say for example, they play here and eventually you get strong, right? Like they break the shape, you get strong on the top side. They play a move to save these stones. The idea would be is you would take your strength and be able to jump into the right side. This is going to be, we need to fight this 100%. This is too good for black. At least playing this way would be big. Although we wouldn't be able to stop them from connecting under. So I'm not sure we can block there. So now we need to fix. You still leave weaknesses here, like for example this. So even if you go for the outside, when black connects, you have a double weakness on both sides. But there's not a whole lot of points here. You probably wouldn't want to fix this. You'd want to actually attack these stones. So like the priority should not be fixing whatever issues over here anymore. And it would straight up be just absolutely trying to attack these stones. In some bizarre case where your opponent allows you to play stuff like this, right? Let's say they live here locally, bringing the cutting stones on the wall that black has is going to be super beneficial in order to gain points locally here and stop black from like absolutely devouring all the endgame. Because black needs to focus on being able to live. Right? So even if black plays this way, he does need to make eyes somehow, some way. In the game, we did attack them eventually, but black got this extra move here. We took away the base. The turn is no good. Why are we turning? I guess you could play it, but like later you may want to play here, and like you can give up the 3 stones. You may want to play something like this and then try to live locally, right? So potentially just running with the stones or playing moves like this to bring out to bring the stones out in the center is going to be very large. But this turn kind of hurts my soul. It is a big move, but we helped white fix. Black jumped. Absolutely can't let our opponent connect up. We have to find some way of handling this, and probably uh, this would be the way to do it. I feel like black is still winning though. But finally, we got moves in the center, but I promise you the center is not as big as the sides. You are now allowing black to... Well, first they're going to get this, right? And now black can actually leave this and play something here. They can play this move, which they're just going to connect back up, and you can't stop them from doing that. So, like, you lose like 50% of the bottom, like this. If I do a quick score estimate, black plus 16. Any questions about the game? I think the real issue was this fight here for white, and black kind of tricked white. So the opponent played this really low move. They're trying to force you into fighting. But in some sequences, you can just get this up. A very simple way of playing. I think you probably have the ladder too. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't check. So like this, you can force the opponent to do here. But if they play a more traditional way, say for example, like this, taking the points and then allowing them to have that extension is okay. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming and watching. I will have the video link ready afterwards. Peace.